You should really try the keto diet, Wendy. It worked wonders for my friend Sarah. Denise's sugary sweet voice carried across the dinner table like poison wrapped in honey. I gripped my fork tighter, the metal cold against my palm, and forced myself to keep eating my mother's lasagna. My name is Wendy, and I'm a successful tech executive who just landed a major deal worth millions. But sitting here at my parents' weekly family dinner, none of that matters. I'm just the fat sister who can't get her life together. At least according to my brother's wife. I'm actually quite happy with my current lifestyle, I replied, keeping my voice steady. The words tasted bitter, rehearsed from countless similar conversations. Oh, come on, Denise pressed, tossing her perfectly styled blonde hair. You can't possibly be happy looking like that. She gestured vaguely at me with her fork, barely touching her own food. The table fell silent. My brother Josh suddenly became very interested in his water glass. My younger sister Paris shot me a sympathetic look, while Mom and Dad exchanged glances that screamed discomfort. I just closed a $4.2 million deal today, I said, surprising myself with the words. My team's expanding, and we're looking at opening a new office in Seattle. That's wonderful, honey. Mom jumped in, clearly relieved for the change of subject. Denise's smile tightened. Physical fitness is just as important as career success. Don't you agree, Josh? My brother choked on his water. I think everyone has different priorities. Speaking of priorities, Paris interjected, did anyone watch the new episode of... You know? Denise cut her off, leaning forward. There's this amazing gym near your office, Wendy. I could get you a guest pass. They have excellent trainers who specialize in cases like yours. The lasagna turned to ash in my mouth. I'd lost count of how many times Denise had tried to help me this way, each suggestion feeling like a tiny needle under my skin. I appreciate the offer, I said, standing up. But I should get going. Early meeting tomorrow. Already? Mom looked concerned. But we haven't had dessert. Oh, that's probably for the best, Denise chirped. Right, Wendy? Something snapped inside me. 5 years of these digs, these little comments, these perfectly aimed arrows. I turned to face her directly. You know what, Denise? I run a department of 30 people. I've doubled our revenue in 2 years. My team would walk through fire for me. But somehow none of that matters because I don't fit your idea of what success looks like. The room froze. Denise's perfect smile faltered for a split second. I'm just trying to help, she said softly, playing the victim. Health is wealth, after all. Wendy, Josh started, but I cut him off. No, it's fine. I get it. I'm the fat sister who needs saving. The one who makes everyone uncomfortable because she doesn't fit the mold. Well, guess what? I'm done. Nobody thinks that, Paris protested. Really? I looked around the table. Then why does nobody ever say anything when she makes these comments? Why do you all just sit there? The silence that followed was deafening. I think we're all just a bit tired. Mom attempted to mediate. Maybe we should... I have to go, I said, grabbing my purse. Thanks for dinner, Mom. As I walked to my car, I heard footsteps behind me. It was Paris. Wait, she called out. You're right. We should have said something. I turned to face her, feeling the cool evening air on my heated cheeks. It's not your fault. It's mine for letting it go on this long. What are you going to do? I thought about Eva, my old colleague who'd been trying to get me to join her wellness program. Not for weight loss, but for strength. Mental and physical. I'd always brushed her off, too afraid to try. I'm going to change things, I said, surprising myself with the conviction in my voice. Not for Denise. For me. Paris hugged me tight. Show her what you're made of, sis. As I drove home, Denise's words echoed in my head, but for the first time, they didn't sting. Instead, they fueled something else. Determination. I pulled into my driveway, grabbed my phone, and pulled up Eva's number. The phone rang twice before she answered. Wendy? Everything okay? Remember that program you mentioned? The one about building strength from the inside out? Of course, Eva replied, sounding intrigued. I took a deep breath. I'm in. And I want to start tomorrow. Really? What changed your mind? I thought about Denise's smirk, about Josh's silence, about years of swallowed pride and forced smiles. Let's just say I'm ready to show everyone what real strength looks like. Eva's office wasn't what I expected. Instead of the typical gym setup with mirrors and equipment, it looked more like a cozy living room. Potted plants dotted the corners, and a comfortable couch invited me to sit. You look exactly the same, Eva said, pulling me into a warm hug. Her familiar jasmine perfume brought back memories of late nights at our old tech startup, sharing dreams and pizza. You mean still fat? I tried to joke, but it came out bitter. Eva's dark eyes narrowed. No, I mean still carrying yourself like you're apologizing for existing. Sit. We need to talk. I sank into the couch while Eva perched on her desk. So, what finally brought you here? My sister-in-law. I started, then found myself spilling everything about the family dinner. Eva listened without interrupting, her expression growing increasingly concerned. Remember Marcus from our coding team? She asked when I finished. The guy who had panic attacks before every presentation? The same one. Now he's a keynote speaker at tech conferences. Eva leaned forward. Want to know what changed? He finally learned to code properly. He learned that strength isn't about being perfect. It's about being resilient. Eva stood up and walked to a whiteboard. You're looking at this all wrong, Wendy. You're seeing it as a weight issue when it's really a power issue. I shifted uncomfortably. What do you mean? This Denise person, she's not attacking your body. She's attacking your power, and you're letting her. I'm not letting her do anything, I protested. Really? Eva raised an eyebrow. Tell me about your last team meeting. What does that have to do with anything? Humor me. I thought back to yesterday's meeting. We were discussing the Seattle expansion. I suggested a new approach to... No, Eva interrupted. Tell me how you sat, how you spoke. Did you make eye contact? The question caught me off guard. I guess I mostly looked at my notes. Despite being the most qualified person in the room? Eva shook her head. That's what I mean. You're letting people diminish your power, not just Denise. My phone buzzed. A text from Josh. Denise feels terrible about dinner. Can we talk? I showed Eva the message. Don't respond, she said immediately. Not until you're stronger. I'm not weak, I snapped. No, you're not. But you're not using your strength either. Eva grabbed her keys. Come on, I want to show you something. We drove to a small community center where a group of women were gathering for what looked like a class. What is this? I asked as we walked in. My Tuesday group. Watch. The women were all shapes and sizes, some in business attire, others in workout clothes. Eva stepped to the front of the room. Ladies, today we have a guest. This is my friend Wendy, and she's about to learn what we already know. That power isn't about size, it's about presence. For the next hour, I watched as these women transformed. They practiced speaking, standing, even just entering a room. It wasn't about physical exercise. It was about owning space. Your homework, Eva announced at the end, is to take up space unapologetically, whether it's on the subway, in a meeting, or at your family dinner table. On the drive back, I was quiet, processing what I'd seen. You think I'm crazy? Eva said, grinning. No, I think I'm crazy for not calling you sooner. I paused. But I don't see how this helps me deal with Denise. Because you're still thinking about dealing with Denise. You need to focus on building yourself up first. Eva pulled into her office parking lot. 3 months. What? Give me 3 months. Come to my Tuesday groups. Work with me one-on-one. No diets, no extreme workouts, just building your power. After that, if you still want to deal with Denise, we'll talk strategy. Another text buzzed. Paris this time. Mom's planning a family sports day in 3 months. Denise's idea. You should come. I showed Eva the message, watching her face light up. Now that's what I call perfect timing, she said. Are you in? I thought about Denise's smirk at dinner, about Josh's avoiding eyes, about all the times I'd made myself small to make others comfortable. 3 months, I agreed. But I have conditions. Name them. No talk about weight loss, no scales, no before and after photos. Ava's smile widened. Deal. And I have one condition too. What's that? You have to promise to show up for yourself, not for Denise. I took a deep breath, thinking about the women in the community center, about how they owned their space without apology. I promise. Good. Eva handed me a notebook. Your first assignment is to write down every time you make yourself small this week. Every time you apologize for nothing. Every time you let someone talk over you. Every time you shrink to make others comfortable. As I drove home, my phone buzzed again with another text from Josh. This time, I didn't even look at it. For the first time in years, I felt something new growing inside me. Not anger, not revenge, but something stronger. Hope. Stand like you own the room, Eva commanded, adjusting my posture in front of the mirror. Shoulders back, chin up, now walk. 2 weeks into our sessions, and I was learning things I'd never considered before. Like how the way you enter a room can change its entire dynamic. Better, Eva nodded as I strode across her office. But you're still apologizing with your eyes. I don't even know what that means. I laughed, but my phone's buzz interrupted us. Josh again. He'd been calling daily since the dinner incident. Eva raised an eyebrow. Still avoiding him? Not avoiding, just prioritizing myself for once. Good. Now, about tomorrow's presentation. The door burst open, cutting her off. There stood Denise in perfect workout gear, her face a mask of fake concern. Wendy, I thought it was you. I teach yoga next door and saw your car. Her eyes swept over Eva's office, taking in the lack of traditional gym equipment. What is this place? My heart raced, but Eva's training kicked in. Shoulders back, chin up, own the space. Executive coaching, I said firmly. Eva's helping me enhance my leadership presence. Denise's perfect smile flickered. Oh, I thought, well, when I saw you at a wellness center, you thought I was finally taking your weight loss advice? I finished for her, maintaining eye contact. The silence stretched uncomfortably. Actually, Eva stepped in, her voice professional. Wendy's preparing for a major presentation tomorrow. We're working on commanding presence and authoritative speaking techniques, things that make a real impact in the corporate world. Denise's smile turned brittle. How interesting. Josh has been trying to reach you, you know. He's worried. I've been busy. Major project launch coming up. Too busy for family? Denise pressed. Too busy for drama, I corrected, surprising myself with my directness. Eva cleared her throat. Wendy, we should review your presentation points. Right, I nodded, turning back to Denise. It was nice seeing you. I'll tell Josh I saw you, Denise said, her tone suggesting a threat. He'll be relieved you're getting help. After she left, I collapsed onto Eva's couch. That was fantastic, Eva exclaimed. Did you see how you held your ground? 3 weeks ago, you would have made excuses or let her diminish you. She'll tell everyone I'm getting therapy or something. So what? Own it. Yes, I'm working with the executive coach to enhance my already successful career. Make it a power move. My phone buzzed again. Paris this time. Heads up, Denise is spreading weird rumors about you getting help. Want me to shut it down? No, I texted back. I've got this. The next day, I walked into the conference room for my presentation wearing my power suit and the presence Eva had helped me cultivate. My team sat straighter when I entered. Even my boss, Lionel, seemed to notice something different. Before we begin, I announced, I'd like to share something personal. The room quieted. I've recently started working with an executive coach to enhance my leadership skills. Because true leaders never stop growing. Lionel nodded approvingly. The presentation went perfectly, and afterward he called me into his office. That was impressive, he said. Not just the presentation, the way you carried yourself. You're different lately. Thank you. I'm working on it. Keep working. The Seattle office will need strong leadership. I blinked. Are you saying we'll talk details next week? He smiled. Whatever you're doing, it's working. That evening, I finally answered Josh's call. Where have you been? He demanded. Denise said she saw you at some wellness center getting therapy or something? Executive coaching, I corrected. And yes, I'm working on my professional development. How are you, Josh? I. What? Look, Denise feels terrible about dinner. She wants to make it right. I'm sure she does. What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm not interested in making her feel better about her behavior. The words came easily now. If she wants to apologize, she can do it directly. No triangulation. When did you get so different? When I stopped accepting unacceptable behavior. I paused. I hear there's a family sports day coming up? Yeah, Denise is organizing it. You're coming? Wouldn't miss it. I smiled, thinking of Eva's training. Tell Denise I'm really looking forward to it. After hanging up, I texted Eva. Just stood up to both my brother and my boss in the same day, in completely different ways. Her response came quickly. Perfect. Now, about those sports day plans? I grinned, feeling stronger than ever. Denise wanted a show of strength. She was going to get one. Just not the kind she expected. My phone buzzed one more time. A message from Paris. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You sound different. Stronger. I am, I texted back. And I'm just getting started. And now, let's welcome our next speaker, Wendy, who's leading our corporate wellness initiative. The applause echoed through the community center as I took the stage. 6 weeks into Eva's program, and here I was, speaking at a charity event about mental health in the workplace. The irony wasn't lost on me. 3 years ago, I began, my voice steady and strong. I sat in my office after closing a major deal, feeling like an imposter. Success didn't make me feel powerful. It made me feel more vulnerable to criticism. From the corner of my eye, I spotted Denise slipping into the back of the room. Paris must have told her about the event. Perfect. But true strength isn't about looking powerful, I continued. It's about being powerful. It's about standing tall when others try to make you small. It's about lifting others up instead of tearing them down. The audience leaned forward, engaged. Even Denise stood still, her usual smirk nowhere to be seen. That's why our new corporate wellness program focuses on mental resilience alongside physical health. Because you can't build one without the other. After the speech, people crowded around, sharing their stories. A young woman grabbed my hand, tears in her eyes. I thought I was the only one, she whispered. Thank you for speaking up. Eva appeared at my side, beaming. Now that's what I call taking up space. Wendy? Denise's voice cut through the crowd. She looked different, smaller somehow, less certain. Can we talk? Eva squeezed my arm and stepped away, leaving us alone. That was unexpected, Denise said, fidgeting with her designer handbag. I didn't know you were involved in this kind of work. There's a lot you don't know about me, Denise. Look, about the family dinner. Save it, I interrupted, keeping my voice low but firm. I'm not interested in apologies that come from seeing me succeed. Where was this conversation when you thought I was failing? Her face flushed. I was trying to help. No, you were trying to feel superior. There's a difference. I gathered my papers from the podium. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have people waiting. Josh misses you, she blurted out. He says you've changed. I haven't changed, Denise. I've just stopped shrinking. As I turned to leave, she grabbed my arm. Wait, there's something you should know. What's that? The family sports day. I organized it because I thought... She swallowed hard. I thought it would be another chance to prove I'm better than you. The admission hung between us. For the first time, I saw past Denise's perfect exterior to something fragile underneath. Why are you telling me this? Because watching you up there, owning that stage. I realized I've been competing with the wrong person. I've been so focused on proving my worth by diminishing yours. Denise. No, let me finish. My sister was always the successful one, the pretty one. I thought marrying into your family would finally make me the superior sister somewhere. But I've been horrible to you, and today I saw what real strength looks like. I studied her face, searching for the usual manipulation, but found only raw honesty. The sports day is still happening, she continued. But maybe it could be about something else, something better. Before I could respond, my boss Lionel approached. Wendy, the board members loved your presentation. They want to implement your wellness program in all our offices, including Seattle. Seattle? Denise asked. Yes, I replied, standing taller. I'm being promoted to run the new regional office. Denise's eyes widened. You're moving? No, I'll be managing it remotely, building a virtual team, innovation and leadership, just like I talked about today. Lionel nodded approvingly. The future of corporate leadership. Wendy's pioneering our new approach. After he left, Denise stood quietly for a moment. I really messed up, didn't I? Yes, I said simply. You did. Can we start over? I thought about Eva's lessons in power and grace. No, we can't start over. But we can start from here, differently. How? First, by you understanding that I'm not your competition. I never was. And second, I smiled, thinking of the sports day ahead, by showing everyone what real strength looks like. Together. Denise's phone buzzed, Josh's face appearing on the screen. She hesitated before declining the call. He needs to understand too, she said quietly. About how he let this happen. One step at a time, I replied. The sports day is in 6 weeks. Let's show them all what we can do when we stop fighting each other and start fighting for something better. As Denise walked away, Eva returned to my side. Well, that was unexpected. Good unexpected or bad unexpected? That depends. Eva grinned. Are you ready to turn this revenge story into something more powerful? I watched Denise's retreating figure, thinking about transformation and redemption. I'm ready for whatever comes next. You're doing what? Mom nearly dropped her casserole dish as I helped her prepare for another family dinner. 2 weeks had passed since the charity event, and I'd finally agreed to return to these Sunday gatherings. Training with Denise, I repeated, arranging silverware on the table, twice a week. The same Denise who... Mom trailed off, clearly remembering the last dinner disaster. Yes, that Denise. People can change, Mom. Paris burst through the kitchen door, grinning. They're here, and you won't believe what's happening in the driveway. I walked to the window. Outside, Josh was staring open-mouthed as Denise and I's new project unfolded. She was helping Eva unload equipment from her car. Is that a meditation cushion? Mom asked, peering over my shoulder. And yoga mats, I confirmed. We're doing a demonstration after dinner. A demonstration of what exactly? Different kinds of strength. The front door opened and Josh's voice carried through the house. Would someone please explain what's going on? Denise hasn't stopped talking about Wendy all week, and now this? I walked into the living room, shoulders back, chin up, just as Eva had taught me. Josh did a double take. Whether at my posture or my presence, I wasn't sure. Hey, brother, I said calmly. We have a lot to talk about. Denise entered behind him, carrying a yoga mat. Should we set up in the backyard? The lighting's better there. Perfect, I agreed. Josh looked between us like we were speaking alien language. Okay, what parallel universe did I wake up in? One where your wife and sister finally figured out they're stronger as allies than enemies. Paris chimed in, helping Eva with the remaining equipment. During dinner, the tension was different than before. Not gone, but transformed. Josh kept glancing between Denise and me, trying to decode our new dynamic. So, Dad ventured, this sports day, it's still happening? Absolutely, Denise replied. But we've modified the concept. Instead of competition, it's about demonstration. Different types of strength, different ways of leading. Speaking of which, I added, standing up, who's ready for a little preview? We moved to the backyard where Eva had set up a small area with mats and cushions. The family gathered around, curious and slightly skeptical. Leadership, I began, isn't about dominating others. It's about inspiring them. I nodded to Denise, who stepped forward. For years, she said, her voice shaking slightly, I thought being strong meant making others feel weak. I was wrong. Josh shifted uncomfortably. Denise, you don't have to. Yes, I do. She cut him off. Because you need to hear this too, Josh. You watched me tear your sister down and you said nothing. The backyard fell silent. Even the birds seemed to pause. I enabled it, Josh admitted quietly. I was afraid of losing you if I spoke up. That's not love, Denise replied. That's fear. And I'm sorry I made you feel that way. Eva stepped forward. Shall we show them what we've been working on? For the next 30 minutes, we demonstrated exercises in partner trust, balance, and mutual support. Not just physical exercises, but emotional ones, too. The family watched as Denise and I moved through sequences that required complete cooperation. Now, Eva addressed the family. Who wants to try? To everyone's surprise, Mom stood up first. I think it's time I learned some new ways of being strong, too. One by one, family members joined us on the mats. Even Josh, after some coaxing, participated in a trust fall exercise with both Denise and me. Later, as we were packing up, Josh pulled me aside. I don't understand, he said. How did this happen? We both realized we were fighting the wrong battle, I explained. Denise needed to prove she was worthy of being part of this family, and I needed to prove I was worthy of my success. We were both wrong. And the sports day? Will be a demonstration of real strength. All kinds of strength. I paused. You should join us in training. I wouldn't know where to start. That's exactly where everyone starts, Josh, with not knowing. As the family helped clean up, I caught Denise looking at her reflection in the patio door. She wasn't checking her appearance as she usually did. She was practicing her power pose. Ready for next week's corporate wellness presentation? I asked her. She nodded. Ready to show them what real transformation looks like. Mom appeared beside us, holding the meditation cushion. Can I keep this? I think I need to learn some new things too. I hugged her, feeling the years of unspoken tensions beginning to dissolve. We all do, Mom. We all do. As Eva drove away, she gave me a thumbs up through the window. Phase 1 of our plan was complete. The family was on board. Now came the harder part. Preparing for a sports day that would redefine what victory really means. Again, Eva's voice echoed through the community center. This time, focus on the transition. Denise and I moved through our sequence, a combination of yoga poses and partner exercises we'd created for the sports day demonstration. 2 weeks to go, and we were training daily. Better, Eva called out. But Denise, you're still trying to control everything. Trust Wendy's strength. Sorry, Denise muttered, her face flushed. Old habits. Don't apologize, I said, helping her up. Just breathe and try again. Josh walked in, carrying water bottles for everyone. He'd been joining our sessions regularly now, slowly understanding the new dynamic between his wife and sister. Mom's outside, he announced. She's nervous about trying the group sequence. I'll talk to her, Denise offered, surprising us all. She jogged outside, leaving Josh and me alone. She's different, Josh said quietly. You both are. Good different? Real different. He handed me a water bottle. I've been thinking about that dinner. About all the dinners, really. I should have... Stop, I interrupted. We're not doing guilt. We're doing growth. Eva clapped her hands. Break's over. Josh, you're up. Let's work on that trust fall sequence. Mom entered with Denise, looking apprehensive but determined. I brought snacks, she announced, holding up a bag. And I've been practicing those breathing exercises. Show us, Eva encouraged. For the next hour, we worked as a family. Mom surprised everyone with her natural grace in the slower movements. Josh finally managed to let go of his need to control every fall. And Denise showed glimpses of a person I'd never known existed. During a water break, I overheard her on the phone. No, Sarah, I won't be teaching the morning yoga class anymore. Because I'm working on something more important. No, it's not about weight loss. Look, I have to go. She caught me listening and shrugged. Some people won't understand what we're doing here. Are you okay with that? I'm learning to be. She twisted her water bottle cap. My sister called yesterday. First time in months. The successful one? Yeah, I told her about our project, about redefining strength. She laughed. And? And for the first time, her laugh didn't destroy me. Denise smiled. Progress, right? Ava called us back to practice. We were working on the finale sequence when Paris burst through the door. Emergency, she announced. Dad found the sports day program draft. My stomach dropped. We'd been keeping the details secret, wanting to surprise everyone with how we'd transformed the event from competition to collaboration. What did he say? Josh asked. He's confused. Says it's not really a sports day without winners and losers. Paris handed me her phone. He's texting everyone about it. I read the message thread, feeling my old insecurities trying to surface. But Eva's training kicked in. Shoulders back, chin up, own your space. Good, I said firmly. Let's show him exactly what we mean by winning. We worked later than usual that night, perfecting every movement. Mom stayed the whole time, her determination matching ours. Even Josh mastered sequences he'd struggled with for weeks. As we were packing up, Denise pulled me aside. There's something I haven't told you. What is it? I invited my sister to the sports day. She rushed on before I could respond. I need her to understand what I've learned from you. From us, I corrected. We learned together. Eva joined us, holding her clipboard. Ladies, we have 10 days left. The invitations have gone out, the program is set, and thanks to Paris's social media skills, we're expecting quite a crowd. How many? I asked, suddenly nervous. About 100 people. Eva grinned at our shocked expressions. Turns out there's a lot of interest in redefining strength and family dynamics. Mom appeared with her yoga mat rolled under her arm. I invited my book club too. Hope that's okay. I looked around the room. At Josh practicing his breathing techniques, at Paris filming segments for social media, at Mom proudly showing off her improved balance, at Denise teaching Eva a new stretch sequence. It's more than okay, I said. It's perfect. Later that night, I received a text from Dad. This sports day program, it's different. I replied, Yes, it is. Come to tomorrow's practice. See for yourself. His response came quickly. What time? I smiled, sending him the details. The last piece was falling into place. In 10 days, we would show everyone that true strength isn't about domination. It's about transformation. Eva's final text of the night read, Remember where you started. Look where you are. Imagine where you're going. I looked in the mirror, seeing not just my reflection, but the echo of every woman who'd ever been told she wasn't enough. In 10 days, we would change that story. Together, the community center buzzed with energy. Over 100 people filled the converted gymnasium, including my entire extended family, Denise's sister Amanda, Mom's book club, and even my entire tech team. Paris's social media campaign had worked better than expected. Breathe, Eva reminded me as we peeked through the curtain. You've got this. Denise appeared beside us, wearing the same style workout gear as mine. No more designer labels or perfect makeup. My sister's in the front row, she whispered, looking judgmental as ever. Perfect place to watch her worldview shift, I replied, squeezing her hand. The lights dimmed and Eva stepped out to address the crowd. Welcome to Redefining Strength. a demonstration of power that goes beyond the physical. She paused, scanning the audience. 3 months ago, two women came to me with a story about family, rivalry, and pain. Today, they'll show you how that story transformed into something extraordinary. That was our cue. Denise and I walked out together, the spotlight catching us as we took our positions. The routine we'd practiced hundreds of times began flowing naturally. Movements that required complete trust, balance, and mutual support. From the corner of my eye, I caught Amanda's shocked expression as her sister, usually so focused on perfect appearances, moved with authentic power instead of practiced precision. The sequence built gradually, incorporating Josh, then Mom, then Dad, each demonstrating different aspects of strength. Dad, who'd been skeptical at first, now moved with surprising grace through the trust exercises. Then came the moment we'd prepared for. I stepped forward, Denise beside me. 3 months ago, I began, my voice carrying clearly through the room. I sat at a family dinner feeling worthless because I didn't fit someone else's definition of success. And I was that someone, Denise added, trying to feel powerful by making others feel small. We moved through our next sequence as we spoke, demonstrating physical harmony while sharing emotional truth. But true strength, I continued, executing a balanced pose with Denise, isn't about domination. It's about transformation, Denise finished, supporting my weight as we'd practiced countless times. The audience was silent, captivated. Even Amanda had dropped her skeptical expression. We transitioned into the group demonstration, where Ava had arranged for volunteers from the audience to join us. Mom's entire book club participated, along with several of my tech team members. Leadership isn't about being perfect, I announced, guiding a nervous volunteer through a simple sequence. It's about being authentic. And family isn't about competition, Denise added, working with another group. It's about elevation. The energy in the room shifted as more people joined in, learning simple movements that demonstrated connection rather than competition. Even Amanda, after some coaxing from Mom, participated in a basic partner exercise. The finale brought everyone together in a series of connected movements, showing how individual strength contributes to collective power. As the last sequence ended, the room erupted in applause. Ava stepped forward again. This is just the beginning. We're launching weekly sessions here at the community center, teaching these principles to anyone who wants to learn. People crowded around afterward, sharing their own stories of family tension and transformation. Amanda approached Denise, her usual poise slightly shaken. I don't know what to say, she admitted. This isn't what I expected. That's kind of the point, Denise replied, standing tall. I'm not trying to be you anymore. I'm learning to be me. The sisters hugged, awkwardly at first, then with genuine emotion. My tech team surrounded me, led by Lionel. Now this, he said, is the kind of innovative leadership we need in Seattle. When can you start? I already have, I replied, watching as Mom taught her book club members one of our breathing exercises. Leadership happens everywhere, not just in offices. Josh appeared with Dad, both still in their workout gear. So, Dad said, this is what you meant by different kinds of strength. Did we prove our point? I asked. He hugged me, then Denise. You proved something better. You proved that family can change. Paris bounced over, phone in hand. The video's already going viral. People are asking about training programs, workshops, everything. Ava joined us, beaming. Ready for phase 2? Phase 2? Josh asked. The real work, Denise explained. Taking this message beyond today. Teaching others what we learned. I looked around the room, at Mom sharing techniques with her friends, at Dad proudly explaining our program to relatives, at Josh finally standing comfortable in his own skin, at Denise and Amanda beginning to build a new kind of sisterhood. We're ready, I said. Eva smiled. Then let's show them what real power looks like. As people began filing out, carrying new knowledge and perspective with them, I caught Denise's eye across the room. We shared a knowing look. This wasn't the end of our story. It was just the beginning of a better one. Ready for this? Ava asked as we stood outside my parents' house for another Sunday dinner. The first one since the sports day demonstration. Different kind of strength needed today, I replied, adjusting my blazer. I'd just flown back from Seattle after finalizing plans for the new office. Denise's car pulled up, and she stepped out wearing business casual instead of her usual designer outfit. Sorry I'm late. The community center class ran over. How's the new program going? I asked as we walked to the door. Full registration. Turns out a lot of people want to learn about real strength. She smiled. Amanda's even talking about starting a similar program in her city. Mom opened the door before we could knock, pulling us into a group hug. The house smelled of lasagna. The same dish from that fateful dinner months ago. Perfect timing, she said. Paris is setting up for the announcement. We entered to find the dining room transformed. Instead of the usual formal setup, the table had been pushed to one side, creating an open space with cushions arranged in a circle. Dad and Josh were already seated, looking both amused and comfortable with the change. Look what arrived. Paris bounded in, holding up a magazine. On the cover was a photo from our sports day demonstration with the headline, Redefining Corporate Wellness, How Two Women Transformed Family Rivalry into Revolutionary Leadership. The article's already generating interest from other companies, I said, sitting down. They want to implement our program nationwide. And the community center is expanding to 3 more locations, Denise added. Eva's training new instructors next week. Josh reached for Denise's hand. Remember when you used to measure success by how many people showed up to your yoga classes? Remember when you used to measure it by keeping everyone happy? She countered gently. Speaking of measuring things differently, Mom interrupted, bringing in the lasagna. I have news. We all turned to her. She stood straighter, using the presence techniques we'd taught her. I'm going back to school, she announced, to get my counseling degree. All those years mediating family drama, might as well make it official. Mom, Paris squealed. That's amazing. Dad stood up, wrapping an arm around Mom's waist. Tell them the rest. The community center offered me a part-time position, Mom continued. Running support groups for families dealing with similar issues to ours. Looks like transformation runs in the family, Eva observed. As we settled into dinner, the conversation flowed naturally. No forced politeness, no hidden barbs, no competition for attention. I've been thinking, Denise said during a lull. About that first dinner, when all this started. The room quieted. I was so wrong, she continued, but I'm grateful for that wrongness now. It led us here. To lasagna? Josh joked. To truth, I corrected. To real strength. Speaking of which, Paris chimed in. Wait until you see the messages we're getting from the article. People sharing their own family transformation stories. It's becoming a movement. A movement needs leaders, Eva said pointedly. I nodded, understanding. That's actually why I wanted everyone here tonight. The Seattle office isn't just about tech anymore. We're launching a full corporate wellness division, focusing on authentic leadership and strength. And, Denise added, we're partnering with community centers nationwide to make these programs accessible to everyone. We? Dad asked. I've asked Denise to head up the community outreach program, I explained. Nobody better understands both sides of this transformation. Denise blinked back tears. I haven't said yes yet. But you will, Josh said softly, because you finally found your real strength. We all did, Mom added, serving the lasagna. Now who's hungry? As we ate, I watched my family. Really watched them. Dad discussing program logistics with Eva. Mom sharing course catalogs with Paris. Josh and Denise planning community outreach strategies. Hey, Denise caught my attention. Remember when I thought strength was about making others feel weak? Remember when I let you? She laughed. A real laugh, not the perfect social titter she used to affect. We were both so lost. Not lost, I corrected, just looking for strength in the wrong places. And now? I gestured around the room, at our transformed family, at the magazine cover, at the future unfolding before us. Now we're showing others where to find it. Ava raised her glass. To finding strength in unexpected places. To family, Mom added. To transformation, Denise offered. To truth, Josh contributed. To all of it, I concluded. And to whatever comes next. As we clinked glasses, I caught my reflection in the window. The woman looking back wasn't seeking revenge anymore. She wasn't trying to prove anything. She was simply, powerfully, authentically herself. And that was the greatest transformation of all.